Greetings and welcome. This is Christine. Greetings. Hi. Hopefully you can hear me. I know you're just tapping into the call. We are going ahead and getting things started. I do hope you can hear me. I tested the mic and everything before coming into the call, so hopefully you can hear me. Are you able to, Drew?
I can hear you.
Oh, yes, great. It's all working. Yes, thank you, thank you. All right. Okay.
Trying to sign in here.
Oh, trying to get everything yes, technology. I know. I thought I had everything logged in, and just before coming in the call, it was making me log back in again. So it's been interesting, to say the least, but getting the technology all worked out. I want to welcome you to the call. Thank you very much for taking the time to make sure that you are able to come. And this is Monday, January the 20th. Oh, my picture seems to be freezing. Hopefully. It is January the 20th, 2025. It is Monday. The Indiana Assembly is in session, and we are welcoming Drew on Elkhart County to the call with us. I'm Christine on Gibson County, State Coordinator, and we want to go ahead and let me do a screen share because we want to go ahead and start with a prayer. Because we are in those times where we need to make sure that at some point because the truth shall set you free, and realizing that when you let go of God, you lose everything. So we've had to see through this through this Trump coming in and everything, we've all had to see that at some point in time you're going to have to make the decision. No more playing games, no more trying to dodge, walking on both sides. It's time to either come into order, or you can move along with the other group, the ones that are still willing to be out of place. So we're going to go ahead and get our prayer in, because we want to make sure that we honor our Creator. And I pulled this from Bible Gateway, and you can select your Bible version translation that you wanted to use. I selected the 1599 Geneva version. And this is where the Lord's Prayer comes directly from Yeshua. It is Matthew 6, 9 through 13. After this manner, therefore, pray, Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, even in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we also forget our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever. Amen. And that's when we stand and show that it's like the story in the Bible where the master gave the one servant, they owed some money, and he said, no, I don't have it, it's been hard times. He said, okay, I'll show you mercy, I'll go ahead and forgive the debt. And that same man that owed the money came across someone that he knew that owed him some money, and he said, hey, you got that money that you owe me? And he said no, and he did not show him the same kindness and courtesy. He wanted him to pay him. And so if we want forgiveness for the debts that we have created in our lives, whether it's through physical money debts owed, or it's the debt that you've burdened someone else in some fashion, you've got to be able to forgive them too. At some point in time, you've got to be able to forgive. It doesn't mean you forget. You got to be able to forgive, though, but you don't do it anymore. You don't turn around and go ahead and give back again. So this is where you show God that you walk in His ways, and then He will lead you not into any kind of temptation and actually deliver you, spare you from all that harm because you're walking in His way. So wanted to bring that forward so we can make sure we always bring God first. All right. So we have the Bivens Declaration in the chat. We have on, hopefully is on the screen display. If you want to know more about the Bivens, it's Bivens versus 6 unknown named agents, 403 U.S. 388, 1971. And that is that this meeting is private to all members and all those invited. Bearing false witness, misrepresentation, and posting inflammatory rhetoric in public forums is forbidden and shall be addressed in an appropriate manner. To eliminate all conflict and false allegations, is there anyone in attendance at today's meeting who's here under false pretenses? Who's working for any foreign corporation, including municipal or territorial United States, any member of law enforcement agency or public agency at the federal, state, city, county, or township agencies present? Is there anyone in attendance who is being coerced or paid to be here? If so, you must fully disclose your presence or purpose now or leave our call. We do have our disclaimer. We are engaged in the practice of self-government. If everyone here is volunteering their precious time and skill and money to be able to keep their resources going, each one is an American with rights and prerogatives equal to your own. So there goes again. If you want to receive kindness and you want to receive forgiveness and you want to receive mercy and compassion, you too have to show it as well. But if you're going to come to someone only expecting that on your side, don't be upset if they put a boundary up and put a barrier up. Say, no, that's not how this works. It's either a two-way street or you don't have to be here. They are doing their work out of mutual necessity. This is to actually restore our true and lawful American government. So any demands for service, temper tantrums, any misplaced anger is inappropriate. Direct that where, actually you shouldn't even direct it towards anybody. If you're in that kind of a state, you need to find some other outlet. You need to find where you go for a walk in the park or out, somewhere outside, maybe by a pond or something. You need to go for a jog if you're that type of person, or go out and there's still some snow out, do some maybe tomorrow go out and do some sledding or something like that. Do something, get into some music, get something else to shift all that frustration and anger, so that then God can be able to come through and speak to you on how to work and walk through it clearly. This country does not belong to its government. This country belongs to the people who live here, and you're one of them. And as we've been learning all along the way, and Anna has presented it in her Article 4704, so teach yourself not to lie, be truly fearless. There is a Bible verse that says that the truth shall set you free. We're seeing that it does. Anytime you're bound up in lies, you're bound up in lies.
Mm-hmm.
All right, agent provocateurs and infiltrators. These are things that, while we all kind of get the gist, we know what that looks like. It's just like with any kind of emergency preparedness training. You need to do some walkthrough. You need to have a plan. You need to kind of get the gist and realize that, have that reminder that just because they don't have a 3-letter agency after them, after their name with the title, or they don't have some sort of badge, doesn't mean that they aren't, or at least something visible that you can see, because they're what? They're liars. They are paid spies. So you've got, and they will come in looking as though they are your best friend. And in some cases can be. You didn't know that. They kept a whole other life and you didn't know. There's many things or they could have been sleeper, didn't even know it. There's many with the those little jab things. There could be some triggers within there that set people off that they use to do things. So there's many. You've got to be able to have your eyes open and be aware. So that's why you got to have those reminders of what that looks like. So, for example, an agent provocateur, one employed to associate with suspected persons and by pretending sympathy with their aims to incite them to some incriminating action. So what is that? That's a liar and a deceiver anyway, because all they're trying to do is get you to do the bad deed, which is also something that is well, I'm not going to go into that. I don't think that's all on different. But that's that deceiver, right? That is to try and convince you to commit the actual act so they can say, I didn't do it. Well, it wasn't me. And let you hang for it. Let you be that scapegoat. And of course, then the example for it in Wikipedia is the government used agent provocateurs to try to undermine the opposition party. Well, the opposition party is anybody that they oppose. It's not a particular group. It's anybody they oppose. There's also infiltrator as an informer or stool pigeon, counter spy, double agent, sleeper. Some don't even realize that they were even a part of it because they thought, well, they know that person. They like that person. That person has been honest and truthful. Well, they asked me to ask for some information or, try and check things out for them. And they don't even realize then that they've turned into that. Then there are those lurkers. Lurkers like to come to the calls, but not have anything tangible to present on the calls. And then it's always the looking for where is that you've done something wrong, or there's some kind of problem over here that they can try to say, well, why didn't you do this, and then attack you in that form, because they're not really there to get any work done. They think they're an overseer and can be able to. They're gonna determine making sure that everything is done correctly. But they're not lifting their fingers at all because they want everybody else to do all the heavy work, while they at the same time reap the benefits of any that would come with that. There's also Anna's article, Warning Signs of Infiltrators. This was back 2019. It was very evident of how they were trying to work through the assemblies. The top three: attack the leaders, coordinator, Anna James, the foundational elements, paperwork, the assembly process. They're sure that no matter what you ask for as far as paperwork, that's more paperwork than they're supposed to do, that they shouldn't have to do that. No, not if you're if you're just status correcting, you status correct however much paperwork you want to, but if you're wanting to join the assembly and participate, but also the more that paperwork that you do, the better your CYA. I can tell you, but it's all that paperwork that is necessary. That if you're going to want to participate with the assembly, if you're going to want to, be able to get involved, there's some things that you do have to inform the assembly with, like where you live, and you have to update your information in the LRO to make sure that that's been informed. You can't just say, well, I want to tell you, but I don't want anybody else to know on a public record that I'm somewhere else. No. We're face forward. If you want to participate with the assembly, then you have to do all the additional paperwork. That's for your protection. Like I said, the more paperwork that you complete on status correction, the better you're protecting your own assets. Right?
Right.
But at the same time, it protects the assembly to ensure that we are in the correct standing and jurisdiction. Right? We don't want this to be all for naught, and we end up back in the nonsense. Right? This is about actually correcting things. Okay. We have our mission statement. And this is the same mission statement across all the states. And something I do want to point out is that while the states have equal standing They're not accountable to each other, okay? So if you come from one state, what they did on your state isn't necessarily going to be the kinds of things that we do on another state. It depends on what the people are actually doing. Don't just, well, what we did over here is that, and you need to convert to that. No, we don't. Having equal standing does not mean that this assembly is accountable to any other assembly's actions, nor are those assemblies accountable to us for their actions. We're responsible for our own self-governance, okay? Because some have come through where they have because they have family that's on other states and they've supported them with connecting in, and then they're constantly saying, well, my family on this other state says that they do this over here, so I want to make sure I'm getting this done correctly. That is what they do there. That's how they're doing it. I can't answer for them. All I can tell you is how we're doing it here. And the status correction paperwork process is universal across the board. So so we need to make sure that, you're coming here, so stay with the information here. It's great to get other feedback as to how they're handling processes and how they're working through things, yes. But don't try to bring forward what other assemblies are doing to try to get this assembly to change, nor would I ever or would we ever as our assembly try to do that to any of the other assemblies. So again, that goes back to the golden rule as well as in the prayer. Don't do to others if you don't want that done to you, right? You've got to get that U.S. mindset out of thinking that, well, it's just universal. Everything is universal across the board. That's not what equal standing means. So, mission statement, the equal standing means that it's also we have the equal mission because there are these same items that we have to address that is universal across the 50 states. Our Indiana Assembly is dedicated to the restoration of a complete and fully operational land and soil jurisdiction state and county court system serving the people of Indiana. We need that on every state because they took over the courts. The preservation of the national trust. We all have to ensure each state has their own national trust for their own state, and we're all responsible for that preservation. The enforcement of the public law. All the states are responsible for enforcing the public law. The upholding of the federal constitution owed to our state and people. Again, all the states should be upholding the federal constitution. The repopulation of our land and soil jurisdiction. Of course, you have to have people status correcting, presenting to their assembly so that we can then populate the land and soil. Land and soil goes together. The filling of vacated, that's so that we can say, yes, we've actually got the people here. The people are stepping up. They're coming forward and saying, yes, they're alive. They are living. The filling of vacated public offices. All the state assemblies are going to have to refill those public offices. And the reclamation of our material and intellectual public and private assets. All of the states have had their intellectual public and private assets stolen. So that's why these are the 7 keys in our mission statement that's universal across all the states, in that because these are universal aspects. Okay. To these ends, we, the living people of Indiana, have called the eligible Indiana nationals and citizen electors to assemble and to serve as jurors and officers, and we've established the process and procedure to qualify jurors and others competent to hold state citizenship and public office, hence the paperwork process. We do this peacefully and without rancor in the exercise of our unincorporated powers and capacities. All right, so we will go ahead and get the attendance right now. I think it's just Drew and I. Yeah. Okay, so I will get Drew in on here, and I am already... Oh, I didn't turn the radio thingy on. Oh, snap. Hopefully that'll still catch the broadcast. Ugh. So that it can... Okay. It still records on our side, but it's also, I have to remember to do it here if it kicks the recording over to iHeartRadio. Anyway. Technology. Again, this is where anybody that has this kind of experience, please volunteer to be able to help support this. Albeit I have some computer degrees, but they're also from way back when. I've been married, well, I did get them while we were married, but it's been 15 years. A lot's changed, and that wasn't any really kind of professional field that I worked in, albeit I have the degrees. That's only the reason why I'm able to just keep us going along as we are here.
We're going though.
Yes.
We're still moving.
Yes. Some of this I love. Because I'm a nerd like that anyway, so I pick it up quickly. But it's a lot. It's a whole role essentially in and of itself. So there's so much more that could be done to be able to do it. To keep it correct and keep it current. That I just can't keep all of that going. Okay. So let's see. We got through there. We've got the regular articles as reminders. Our old business public notices to all county sheriffs. I still haven't had a response from anybody if they've sent any kind of notice to their sheriff.
Can I on
go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
My question is, I have the letter ready to go. I wasn't sure how I'm supposed to mail it, and if I need a cover letter and what I'm supposed to say, that kind of thing, or do I just put it in an envelope and send it to the sheriff?
You can, if you want. Yeah, you can just send it. And registered mail.
Registered, okay.
And then that way you have tracking showing that you've served notice. However, it would help though too if showing that you did it, but it would reinforce it if you had some sort of cover letter stating that you're a state national on your county and you want to welcome you to the land and soil jurisdiction. We want to make sure that you are constitution, some kind of verbiage like that.
Right. And that's, I didn't want to overstep or understep.
Right. Because you're coming, you're coming as a state national to your county sheriff.
Right, okay.
That email, right? So you have every right. Yeah, you can't come to my county sheriff to do that, nor can I come to yours.
Okay.
Right?
Right.
I would. That's disrespecting our soil jurisdiction, right?
And would I put a card, like I can put one of the assembly business cards in there?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Absolutely. And if you can work out some kind of size of a peace flag.
Oh yeah.
Whatever size you can do.
Okay.
Obviously the bigger the better. It's the visual. But
yeah, and I did. I ordered my own personal little one, so I have that coming in a pin. But I do want to get one for like my car and for the house and.
Right. If you go to, I think it's uscivilflag.com, I think is what it's called. That's the vendor where the Federation gets the bulk flags. And they also have the car, unless the assembly has unless the Federation has one of the car flags. I can't remember if that's in the store. They're always adding.
I can't remember either. Yeah.
If it's not there, you can still find one.
Okay.
And some, like Menards, I think it's Menards, you can find peace flag items, but you can only find them online. Okay.
All right.
Because they would have to then admit to the public that there's another flag.
Right. Right.
But they're not trying to deny it of giving access to it, right?
I'm telling everybody that listens.
Mm-hmm. But that's money. They're getting money for it, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
Okay. I did go ahead, so I've got here the links for Ex parte Milligan, so you can be able to go through that again. Common Law Courts Training Manual, we've been through that. And since Trump brought up about the Magna Carta, Article 61 of the 1215, because Article 61 is only in the 1215 version of the Magna Carta. It was eliminated in rewrites. So if you read that Article 61, you'll get why. So I went ahead and did a recording of it, as well as here is a link to the National Archives that I read it directly from, so that you have the Magna Carta as well.
I did look at it a little bit, but I was like a little bit confused. So
right, and the Magna Carta is one of our founding documents, right? So you might as well get to know. It's not lengthy. You know, it's not like it's not as long as any one of the constitutions. So, and so you have the option either to read it or listen to me, and then you can speed me up to a chipmunk. Okay, so I've been bringing this forward about addressing the assembly day and time. As we can see, is kind of complicated for many to be able to work out this time slot. So I did create a ballot. Now, on last week's call, I had stated that I had worked with Ionos, our email, our web hosting and every domain provider, and to get the domain verified so that Google Gmail would allow the emails to go through. Well, then all of a sudden, I thought that was handled because I have sent out a few emails since the 13th anyway. But then when I had it set for this round of email to go out to give the assembly agenda, invite details, and then state, okay, well, there will be a separate email that is just or I even put in the email that's from the LRO, where I directly put in the ballot. And now my Gmail, for whatever reason, because I made sure to do a Gmail, no, I didn't even get it. I got it through the state, because I have one going to the state court at the indianaassembly.org, and it did not include the ballot, the form to fill out. So, but I also had 374 undelivered returned emails because Google decided they weren't recognizing the domain again. So I got, and even to get that dealt with, I had to make a phone call to Ionos to make that, to work through that. Now, so I'm dealing with Ionos again this afternoon, and they're not able to work through that because they show in the DNS records for both domains, the Indiana Assembly and At Home on Indiana, that the DNS records are there even for the DMARC, so that we can, because we're sending to over 500 emails through the LRO. We're almost at 600 emails going out now. And, well, they can't figure it out, so they had me send to all their postmaster administrators to put in the whole, so that they could get to work on it. So, and of course they were wanting a list of all the emails that didn't receive their email. I said, I'm not giving you 300. I can't save 300 and each, because when I tried to do a bulk save of the emails in the specific format that they wanted, it wouldn't do it. It automatically puts it in a compressed, because there was 370 some emails. Okay. Mm-hmm. So it automatically put it in a compressed version, and their system is saying they can't, they have to have it in this particular file type. So I finally said, one, those emails hit the spam folder. So I went ahead and in the spam folder, I selected one as report not spam, and then moved all the others into the inbox. So you can go to that inbox and you can look at those emails, because I don't have the time to go look at every single. I pulled out the gist that the bulk of them were through Gmail. Then there, of course, was iCloud, I want to say, was the other, and Hotmail. I think Hotmail was the other. Obviously I didn't go through 374, but those were the bulk of them were for Gmail. But I sent them those codes that they were saying of, it not having the records, and I said, but you're going to have to go and access to see, you don't have to resend all those emails, but something's going on here. If how is it that a free server has this much control that it's locking down a paid service?
Right.
This is a problem. So out of just under 600 emails, 374 did not get delivered.
Oh boy.
So, and the whole point was trying to get people to try and, work through their emails to respond, call to action items within their email. So I was putting the ballot within the email so that they can respond. Mm-hmm. Well, that didn't go through well. So I'm just going ahead and putting the link in the agenda now so that when I do post it, and as well as through the recording, that everybody can then just go straight to it to be able to post the ballot. Hopefully they'll be able to get it. It'll also be a post on the website, which I have been, hold on, let me make sure, because let's see. I have been trying to do a lot of updates through the website. As a post, too, because there's a lot of people that have signed up through the website to be able to get an email directly from the website when updates have been put in. So I have been working at trying to get posts in here. Like here I did the post for the Magna Carta, putting the newsletter in, things like that. So I've been trying, as one way to try and get hopefully those that are visiting the website can at least get to this too, as I'm trying to work through getting these emails worked out. So they have no idea how long it will take for them to get it corrected. Because I even told the guy at the help desk, I said, so what you're saying is I have to send my information to your think tank. He said, yes.
Uh-huh. It's the opposition.
Yeah.
It's after us.
Right. So hopefully through the recordings, though, everybody will talk to, if you can, reach out to anybody that you do know. If you do have contacts with anybody, there are many of the older ones that are in the LRO that some are coming back and catching and listening. Because I'm also trying to, if I've got the LRO working to be able to send emails out, I'm trying to move away from Zoho campaigns so that there's not an extra step to send emails out. And there is no fee to send the emails through LRO, as there is a monthly fee to send through Zoho campaigns. So I'm trying to also reduce costs for the assembly at the same time. But I even told them, I said, our entirety of our contact list is coming from our head organization's private mail server, which is also an Ionos customer. And I said, we've had to actually get a second email server, which is Zoho Campaign. I said, has nowhere near the volume of emails, contacts in there as what it has in our main, in the LRO. because I've been trying to eliminate some of this, because that's wasting server time and space.
Yeah.
Because the LRO server is sending 374 emails that aren't getting anywhere, so then it has to turn around and send an automatic email into my email to say that all those emails were rejected. So the only ones not getting an email are the actual recipients. Technology. And it's out of, I can't do anything about it right now. So I brought it to, and the assembly pays extra to get this tech support, so that the things that I really can't handle, I can connect with them to make sure things keep going. And they didn't know what else to do. So we'll see how that goes. So hopefully, and I'll make sure in the post, when I post for this evening's recording in the agenda minutes, as well as then that link will go on the page that has all the recordings for the assembly calls. And it'll have the link directly to the ballot. So get out there and get your ballot, cast your ballot. I've got it open until February the 3rd, 5 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Eastern. So hopefully I can have that should give me time to be able to get the final number to everybody as to whether passed or not. And at this point, it's whatever ballots do come in, it is whatever the majority is of those ballots. That's all we can do.
Right.
Okay. So, technology, and of course what's odd is because it happened because the emails went out yesterday. So, and also today is the 20th, which was also the inauguration. Right? And how many things did the previous administration and those that really preferred the previous administration have tried to do a lot of things to create a lot of whirlwind coming into this new time that we're all in. So it just perfect timing as it lined up. So I was like, all right, so then we'll be able to, start directly addressing these free servers that shouldn't have this type of, they should be verifying to all of us. We're the ones paying for our service, but yet we're bound by a free service. Now, there's a few that I did get that their inbox was full, and I can't help that.
Right.
None of us can work through that. You have to still be able to go through and check your email. And at some point in time, if we're not able to get this corrected, we may have to, put some kind of a lockdown and say, if nothing else, no Gmail accounts. Because, like I said, Gmail was the bulk of them.
I've been getting a couple of emails from assumedly email hierarchy that says after a certain date you have to change your Gmail. It will no longer be working. But I took that to be just fraudulent, because I'm getting emails from other places.
Right, there's a lot of crazy spam. But if you get an email like that, don't click anything in the email. Go out to your actual Gmail and log in separately and check. Or are you checking it, or is that coming within your Gmail?
I believe it came within my Gmail, but I don't click on anything.
Yeah, that's spam then. Yeah, I've noticed in my spam that there's a lot that they're, and it has funky characters and things like that, and saying that it's coming from Google. Yeah, just report it as spam.
Yep, I just don't even mess with it.
Yeah. It's crazy, and it's like, how come you let all this other junk mail come through, but you'll kick back real paid emails, even though you'll kick it into spam. They'll kick those crazy emails into spam, but yet they'll literally refuse to deliver from a paid service. Something is wrong with that.
That sounds to me like somebody's hacked in and messed things up on purpose.
Right. Something's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So now what I have done is I've gone ahead and pulled up, here's what the ballot will look like. So when you get there, you'll know you've got to the right place.
Okay.
So that you can be able to put everything in. And once you click submit, it'll give you a option to be able to create a PDF of your ballot. Okay, so that way you have your record of it. And I think it sends you an email as well with a link to download it too. So you so that way you can save it for your records. Okay?
Okay.
So there, make sure you get out and get that done. And again, that is, and I've got it open until 5 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Eastern, February the 3rd. So that's 2 weeks so we can get things rolling. We can't keep stalling. We've got to get things moving. Okay, so the next thing, which I've had in here, but you did bring up on last week's call, Drew, that you weren't sure about this online CERT training of how to get in there.
Right.
Okay, so when you go to the onlinecert.org, it redirects here to medicine.utah.edu. So you're going to click online courses.
Mm-hmm.
Then right here, hybrid cert, pick your language, English, and then it takes you into it. And this is where you register. And
I did. I created an account, but I couldn't get anything. Well, I created it over to the right. Maybe it says free and it says register. I hit that red register button over there, and I created an account, but I couldn't get anywhere. Now I got a price, but it's supposed to be free.
Oh, well, this changed it to, because I clicked courses and it gave a list of courses, so it went to hazmat training.
And then it led me to FEMA site to look at the FEMA stuff. So I was like, wait a minute. So I don't know. It's been a month or two ago I did that. And I saw something that says we didn't have something at this time, I believe. It might have been. And then the FEMA, where you have to show your work, so to speak, or do your clinical part of it, your actual showing and doing.
Right.
It looks like the Elkhart Post Office is the place that we have to go and have a proctor to watch us test out, so to speak. And I sent an email and I didn't get anything back to that link that I had.
Okay, I will see what I can walk through as well. But I have all the manuals to I'm working it to work towards getting it into a online training course of our own anyway. But
okay.
There's also, if you do searches, again, like I said before, of like lay responder trainings, things like that. There's other emergency response trainings out there. I think it's nonsense that the Red Cross has such a fee to be able to help, because they do have disaster training for the community, but they have there's a hefty fee, but it's supposed to be for the community. I can see if you're having a group, a business, that is having like a training, then have a fee for the instructor. But
yeah, see, I'm no instructor, I'm no business, I'm nothing to even sign up for something like that. But I have a lot of certificates from the hospital over the years of everything I've had to go through, each specific stuff and all that kind of thing. But it's maybe too old anyway.
Well, we want to make sure, like with first aid and CPR, obviously those are going to be good things that everybody can find somewhere easily to be able to take care of that. No one, for the most part, no one should be unfamiliar with that.
Right.
other than trying to connect with a local actual CERT that gets involved with the first responders, many are, I guess, aren't really wanting to get involved with that because that kind of connects with FEMA, and they
Right.
haven't been pleasant to Americans. So that's why I'm also trying to find alternatives, but it doesn't change the information that we need.
I wonder if the county fire departments around here, because they're outside the city, I wonder if they would have people that
Right.
are willing to
Yeah, that would be something that going to your go to your to your local sheriff, or sorry, your local fire station, and say,
Yeah.
do you do if we get locals together, would you be willing to give us some kind of disaster training and help support that?
Okay.
Definitely. And that's something everyone can do on their county, is connect with the different, agencies, right?
Mhm.
And that way you can start building that relationship with them. Because either they're going to come in line or they're not. If they're not coming in line, it will be revealed and they will get removed. Okay, but at least trying to make that effort to build the bridge, right? Mm-hmm. And trying to, because for the most part they wouldn't be in these roles if they didn't care.
Oh, and I know they care. A lot of
right?
care.
They wouldn't be in them if they didn't care in the first place. So, and they do have the experience. And in a way, it honors them and recognizes the the sacrifices that they've made by learning from them.
Right. Right.
So you don't have to put others in the same situation.
Mhm.
So, but that's a good way to start connecting, to say, hey, what would we need to do? How many people would we need to get together in the community to have, how can we build a local training? And because eventually your county will have to have its own training process set up anyway. So that would, that would already start building those relationships with the first responders there on your county.
Yeah, true. I might know some of them.
Right? There you go.
Yeah.
And you would, and if you're not ready and not comfortable to bring up about the assembly yet, just be honest and say, you're interested in, trying to have some emergency response training, and that you're having difficulties with CERT of trying to work through it from a local level, as well as you're a little leery of, just be honest with, a little leery about it being FEMA and things that you have heard. Okay, you don't have to go, just say that with things that you've heard about FEMA, but it doesn't negate the fact that we still need community emergency training we need community emergency response training in our community. Can you help us? Yeah, and, it may be something of, if you're not comfortable with, which some of them, like you're saying, so you would be able to go talk to them directly. But some, for some of those out there listening, if you don't know them and you're not comfortable, put it in a letter. Start the communication with the letter. Be the first one to offer that opening to bring change. Right?
Okay. Right. Oh, I need some more of those cards while I'm thinking of it. I've been handing them out.
More business? You want more assembly cards?
More assembly cards, please. Yes.
Okay, let me.
Do I need to pay for them or send you money for them?
You can send what you like, and I will send you a bunch. How many you want?
50 to 100 probably, because I'm going to start really hitting it. I talk to waitresses, anybody, anywhere I go. If I get a foot in, I'm talking.
Okay, dear. I will send you. I will get it sent out to you. I will try and get it. I can possibly get it out in tomorrow's mail for you.
Okay.
All right. So, and this is Okay. I'll get that put together and get that sent, and then you can
thank you.
gift as you wish. And obviously, it helps because there was still, still a cost to get those cards printed.
Right. I'll send you some money. I just want to keep planting seeds because I talk to frustrated people all the time. And I'm like,
absolutely. And that's where we need to find bulk of, I guess, even like of this size of the flag, because the desktop, it's a smaller one, yes, but it has the stands, which would be, that's what gives it a little bit of an extra cost, as opposed to buying in bulk. But, even every time you give out a business card, find a way to give a peace flag too.
Right. Or even if it's like a little sticker of it,
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Which I'll be showing. I can make up some, which we've got the stickers on the website, where it has either one big sheet of a full peace flag, or there's one that has like 6 on it.
I looked it up on my phone the other day and showed a waitress so she'd know what the assembly website looks like and what the flag looks like. So yeah.
Good. Awesome. Okay, I have got you. I've got my notes to get that put together for you, and I'll have it set to where it'll send you an email with the tracking info once it gets sent.
And even though would I just send you a check, or would I send it online, some money to you?
Yeah, you can just do a gift, a donation on the site for whatever. Just go to the website to do it, so you can set whatever your amount that you want to do. So whatever you want to do on that. That's what I kind of like. That's the only place really. I think I do have one other area where I was able to get it where not only is it a set amount, set amounts that you could select, but also where it was an open amount, so you could still be able to choose too.
Right. I think you did. I think I just donated some, like a monthly. I think I spent $15, like last week maybe.
Yes.
WordPress maybe.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you. Yeah, that's through the website. Yeah.
Okay.
But the store stuff, some of the store stuff will be going through it. Posts through either Stripe or Square.
Okay.
So, but that way you'll know it is definitely assembly, stuff of where that's coming from. Okay. Awesome. So I will, again, I'll have to try to at least go through that a little bit more on that onlinecert.org site, see what I can figure out, or else they maybe just haven't updated that they're no longer offering it. I'm not sure, but we'll see. Okay, so then here again is a link that is the whole folder that has all the docs to be able to help you with if you have issues with bills and court situations. It's got templates in there. It's got the notices to send with it, all that in that folder. Again, we need to have martial arms. So I'm going to go ahead and just run through quickly so that we can definitely get to the core things that we want to. We were not able to meet last night for the All-State Coordinator call. Unfortunately, Terry lost her dog the day Saturday, and so she was still trying to process. Evidently, it was not a pleasant, smooth experience. So, so she was still trying to process it. So I'm not really, and I haven't had time yet to read deeper into these articles, but she was wanting us to make sure that we address that, because with this regime change, and which I can go ahead and pull up because I had brought it up last week and got the updated flow chart. So let me go to here. Here we go. Now, because remember, on the task, or on the homepage of the 50-state site are how the flow, how our flow goes for the government. This is how it's supposed to flow in America, and this is how they inverted it. Okay. Well, now, given that 2019 was another bankruptcy and closure, so then it changes now how that flow works for us on that flow chart. And if you'll see number 6 here, because this is how they split, this is how where it was originally us and how they split it all out to be able to get to all this down here at the bottom. And so the 6th layer, President of the United States, Inc., is now gone.
Hallelujah.
That was Biden. Probably, actually, it was Biden. It was 2019, though. Under 2019 was Trump. So it was really actually the outgoing of Obama and then coming in with Trump.
Well,
so he truly said he was the last president. Remember, he had said where Trump had said he was the last president?
Yeah, Clinton said that too in his book.
Oh, but actually there was a bankruptcy back then too.
Yes. Which I want to ask you something at the end of this. I want to ask you if you got this one document I have that Trump signed about the Treasury at the end when we're done here.
Okay. From what you're saying, no, it doesn't sound familiar yet, but we've been trying not to, get preoccupied with all of it, but we've been trying to listen some as to what all he's, been doing, because it does affect.
Yeah, he signed the money. He told the fiduciary, I believe, of the Treasury that he had to cough up all the money or transfer it somewhere. And it's a little bit hard to read the copy I have, and I'm not sure, but it's definitely like a litigation thing that was done down, I believe, in Tallahassee in 2018 or 19. Maybe even 2020. I'll have to look at it, and then I'll just copy and send it when we're done.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely. Okay. Yeah, because that would be good, and I can share it out if you're okay with that. Okay.
Yep.
All right. So, yeah, because, it's still valuable information to be able to help support us.
Right.
Then last week we pulled up this email from Anna as to the emergency needs that we need to start putting together. Again, here is a list of what to put into a first aid kit. And in the agenda, when I post that, it has the link to it, as well as it was on the in last week's agenda as well. Okay, so let's see. Want to remind everyone that the passport is issued from the United States. It is not issued by the United States of America. We can create our own passport if you want, but if you do want to get the U.S. passport, there's information here about it and the process to be able to do it. The key piece is making sure that you do your correct autograph. Don't be smart and putting in a parse syntax. You'll invalidate the whole thing. Okay? Put your actual true American signature autograph, that has bicolon, first, middle, and first, full, middle, and last, and copyright symbol. Okay? That does make a difference. And here is the link that read through the information first. Don't just jump to click to the link at the top to hurry up and get to the passport information. Okay, read what Anna states. She has article information. Read through that first. Okay? I did it while I've been trying to get technology stuff dealt with. I have set up a subdomain that is training.athomeonindiana.org. And so if you go to the assembly site, the main site, either the Indiana Assembly or At Home on Indiana, and you go to training portal, it'll take you here that shows the Assembly's training portal, and here's now with the domain subdomain link to it. I need to check what I have that link for. I can't remember what that link is, what that's going to, since the email stuff just having the hiccup with yesterday and today. So I need to try and make sure I check that link. As well as I have the Federation's training link, and where there's additional trainings for the Federation here. Oh, I need to move that because that's not Federation. As well as then other links for Assembly Militia to be for support tools like ham radio training, Morse code. I've been trying to find things that are free to be able to do, as well as then, as you can see, as I was updating it. So I could just move it from here. Of course, there's CERT that it is from CERT, but training videos there. And then here was the link to the online CERT, so I will be updating what I can with that information. But that, as I'm getting new, as I find new info, or anybody that has sites that they have links to that would be supportive in our militia aspect, email me and we can get it posted up here as well. All right. Oh, and I wanted to, yeah, that's okie doke. Make sure, okay. We haven't had any new people sign up in the LRO for January yet, so the map hasn't been updated. Now, in here, still under General Assembly, relative to the General Elections and Quorum Committee, we are going to have to, this has been in about having to have 15 that have canceled all the contracts, to be able to, 15 white men to be able to do that initial vote, election to bring everything forward from 1861 to current time, so that women and people of color can be able to actively support the bill. Now, right now, women and people of color can support with recording secretary. They can support as far as like a county director. They can support as far as outreach. They can support in general education, new member orientation, being a mentor. There's a lot of other things you can be able to do while we're waiting for the men to get this together to be able to do that aspect. But what I've got the link here, and you would go to because you can find it at 50 state site, educational information, and go to, it finds its way through. Right here you got all these little sub-menus. Click Handbooks, General Assembly Handbook. When you go there, you're going to go down here is page 12, and it identifies candidates for the first initiating General Assembly must be. And this is because we are restoring and updating from 1860, a time long prior to the 18-year-old age of majority and votes for women and colored people. At the initial meeting, it is highly recommended that those initiating members open up the General Assembly membership to include women and colored people as electors and jurors. It is also recommended that they retain the age of majority at 21 and the landowner requirements as they are placed as they are in place to guarantee a membership having familiarity with life beyond high school, and also as landowners having a firm attachment to the state and reason to work for its overall benefit. Now, Anna does go on to state that we can, if all else, if you don't own land, you can use your vessel, your physical body, as that having ownership of some, because we are from the land, right? So that's that reminder of why we need this. Okay, so the white men out there that have already done all your cancellations, please step forward, help us with this aspect. If you don't do anything else, if you're not able to support in any other way to help the assembly, let this be the one thing you can do to really set the history right for Indiana. And that would be, make the history, put it down on the record that you've helped Indiana in this way, even if there's nothing else you're able to support to help moving forward. This one thing will help.
What is the bare minimum then for, like, say my grandson who's going to be 24 at the end of the month, and his friend, they can't possibly absorb all this yet, but what would be the bare minimum to get them papered up to get going?
Well, once they're 21, it's just like all paperwork that they can either do the 1779, and then all the cancellation letters, the declaration of political status, or they can do the 1779 and the 928s and the declaration of political status and the cancellation letters. Because the first thing they need to do is get their self-status corrected.
Right.
And then they would be able to step up. They can start coming to the trainings, start coming to calls at that point, right? And then they can start. It's trial by fire too. Sometimes you just have to just start going with it.
Right.
So that will. I wanted to make sure that we, because there are those that like to say, well, where is it written? Where is somewhere that you can present that it's in writing that we have to do this and we have to do it this way? Well, there it is. There it is. So, and we've got to get this moving forward. One way or another. We've got to get it moving forward.
Yes.
Okay, so we'll skip, which, by the way, you talked about, you asked on the last call, Drew, about the assembly member document to present as either a state national or a state citizen as an actual assembly member in the newsletters. And especially the one I just sent out, and I know it was and I think it was in last week's, but I just started putting it in because I'm just updating things and everything. And in the newsletter, let's go there. To newsletter. Now on this one, I've got it set where you just click on it and it changes by page.
Yeah, that's nice.
Here. This page, whatever page that is.
Oh, yeah, that's
assembly documents right here.
Okay.
Okay. And it has in here, this is the breakdown. This reminds of the General Assembly Handbook as to why we need the 15 and what we have on right now of white men fully armored up that are eligible, as far as I know, as far as paperwork is concerned. I don't know what's going on in there, with other personal things. But as far as paperwork, for status correction, for them to be qualified to do this. Okay. So there.
Self-governance. I couldn't get into the self-governance. Well, actually, I paid for it, and then when I tried to log in, I bet it's because I wasn't on my laptop. I got to try that and see if I can log in.
But also, if you have a problem, there should be somewhere in there a help, because that's the Federation's training portal there. And I've got listed here what the paperwork requirements are. Many get confused. They think that as long as they just present the 1779 two witness testimonies, birth certificate, and that they live on Indiana Today, and then all of a sudden they're an assembly member.
Right. Okay.
I mean, you're all eligible to attend the general assembly calls and the juror and the militia and participate as far as getting involved and things like that. But as far as actually being a member that participates on committees as an elected or appointed official, then you have to do all the documents, the cancellation notices, and you have to actually present your member agreement that you are wanting to actually be a member. There is a difference. Many are just assuming, well, I presented the bare minimum and I am always a member. Technically, you are a general member. And very general. You still are eligible to receive all the support, benefits, things like that come with it. But that doesn't mean you're actually someone that's actively serving on a committee or as an elected or appointed official. And that's where you have to have all the other dealt with. And again, you can choose national or citizen. But where the rubber meets the road is where if you're choosing citizen, it means you're actually, it implies there's a duty, you actually have to act upon that. And then, therefore, if you're stating you're a citizen, then you've applied as a member, or you've sent your member agreement in to be as a member as a citizen. It's not just we have to make commitments here. It's part of self-governance. You can't just, well, they know what I want. No, we don't. I can't read your mind. And if I wanted to, I probably could, but I don't want in your mind. I don't want in your mind just like you don't want in my mind.
No, you don't.
So I have boundaries. So since I can't get in your mind to read your mind, or at least I'm not going to.
I was looking at that joining the assembly letter, that document on there. I think, was it under the same site, the 50 state site? Is that where I saw it, or did I see it?
What are you talking about?
About how to join the assembly and help on the, be a juror, be a...
well, yeah, even in the Jural Assembly Handbook, it has that you submit the letter of intent to join the Jural Assembly. The Jural Assembly also has that there's a member agreement as the state citizen and assembly member.
What I was trying to say is I think I just saw the actual form to sign up to join the assembly. And I was a little confused on which thing I want to join. But I know we really gotta start getting going here. And so if I join as a citizen in that part, then I'm only a citizen while I'm working in that aspect, right?
Right. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Like if you're actually doing something that's actually supporting the assembly, like if you're working on a committee, and there's committees. Even if you're a woman or a person of color, there's still all kinds of committee work that you can be able to support to do for other things. But as far as like building the jural aspect of getting all the key roles filled in and how the court's going to operate, things like that, you wouldn't be able to do that until you get into presenting that you're a member. Now, as a juror, everyone on Indiana is technically a part of the jural assembly through the jury aspect as a juror. It doesn't mean you'll be a part of every case, but you would be a part of that pool as it goes along. But it's only if you're getting into where you're actually filling in roles that you then have to actually step up with completing paperwork and presenting member agreement and things like that.
And once we start having like courts, like common law court issues, are we going to be doing it by Zoom meetings, or do we even know right now, or does it, or will we travel to
that depends. Part of what the committees for the General Assembly is going to be involved is finding venues of where to be able to hold court. Whether it's there may be someone that has a location that they can step up to offer it for a state location temporarily, or only as where they're local for their county, to be able to have a location. So one of the committees is finding the location, and to be able to have somewhere to go. But in the meantime, it probably would be via remote calls.
Okay.
And that's something the committees would have to, work that out until. And the committees, the people on the committees would be the ones they have the property location themselves to be able to offer, or they're the ones going out and walking the community to see where they can find to be able to have a place to be able to do it.
Okay.
So yeah, and so there's a lot of things that everybody could be able to still, because like working on some of these committees in the General Assembly, it's not the actual build process, right? Or a build, you have, if you're going to fill in as a, but as a committee member, you still have to have the cancellation notices. You have to be a part of it to be on the committee, but you can be a woman and a person of color and support and actively participate on those committees. Okay. There's just some things you wouldn't be able to vote on, and that's directly related to that. It's on the actual building aspect, but there's a lot of things that you still would be able to participate and support with till we get this initial vote in. Once we get this initial vote in, it'll open the door tremendously.
Okay. So we got to focus on the men for the most part right now.
Right, and that's why I've been trying to keep those hot and heavy on the agenda, as well as in here general elections and quorum committee. Mm-hmm. All right. I think that should be. And if I start kicking in and out, because I got a train. Well, there's a train. I don't have a train, but there's a train going by right now.
Okay.
See, this is all part of the status correction process. You do start, of course, self-correcting in your own verbiage of getting it correct. Well, I do have a train that's going by. It's not my train, so I don't
exactly.
The train. So you see this process in live.
There is a train traversing beside me, or something. Rolling down the track.
Yes, exactly. It's right on the other side of that street right there.
Yeah.
It's not mine.
You're not possessive of it. You're not possessing the train. I get it.
That's that course correcting your...
Yes.
Because, I could have just let it go, and everybody, because we all know what I would have meant,
Yes.
But that's part of why we're at where we're at. We all let so many of those little things that seem so insignificant. Well, everybody knows what we really mean. No, they don't.
No, they don't.
So, and that's because you really aren't clear, or you would state it and start being clear. And that was a live of how to think through your own conversation.
Yeah, I get it. I got that blue book of grammar. I know.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Oh, my.
It's my husband laughs sometimes because he'll just he's like, what are you talking? What is going on? I said, no, I'm not. I'm just processing it out loud.
That's right. Yes, I get it. I get it.
All right, so I did go ahead and update it up here. So as I do get more training things, I'll put it to that on that link. But
okay.
As those that have more information of sites for training, I can be able to put there too. Even if it's first aid CPR training of somewhere to be able, which I have another one that's a free first aid.
Okay.
And CPR that I'll put a link up to as well. Because really, as far as it's like the certifications really and truly are like that license, It's you don't have to have that certification if somebody is beside you and they need your help.
Right.
What you need to know is the skill. You need to know what to do. And that's really the primary goal, is that we all actually have that skill, that if somebody were hurt, it was in jeopardy next to us, we could do something. Even if it's to scream for help.
Yeah, dial something.
Right. And just anything. We need to always be in that mindset that if you do see, don't duck and run.
No,
because that thinking of, well, that can ruin my whole day. Well, what do you think is happening to the one that it's happening to?
Exactly.
So, and if you can help make that situation clearer as to what went on, then you should. If you have evidence of that, if you have knowledge of it, you should help. It doesn't matter whether it inconveniences you for the rest of the day. If it helps somebody else, you should, especially if it's a matter of life and death.
Right.
Okay. So I think I'm going to be rescheduling outreach and general education to work because those times didn't work very well for people to actually show up for that. So we'll work out something different. Okay, so quickly some updates that I have gone through. I told you about the, okay, so when you go to training.athomeonindiana.org. Now, I do have it set for training at the IndianaAssembly.org as well, but right now, all the subdomains for at the IndianaAssembly.org are not secured. They don't have the HTTPS because you have to pay additional for that. But all the at homeonindiana.org domains, and that's why I'm using those as the publishing subdomains, because the Assembly did get a what's called a wild starter or something like that for the domain and all the subdomains for that to have the HTTPS. So that's why I've got everybody. I've got it published to go here through the training.athomeonindiana.org because that way it's a secured link, because you have the opportunity to put in. You can either take it for free or you can put in for a donation of support that you can pick here. So there's other 10, 25, 50 or free, but that way if you wanted to support for that itself. So this one's for the new member orientation, which we have 4 students that have signed up for this already. And so then this is the training portal. So as we start putting in, see, that's another one that that if you are if not a man, but if you're a woman or a person of color and had skills to be able to help get the courses up, that would definitely be helpful as well.
Mm-hmm.
So again, there's a lot of things that still have to get done that isn't held up by that initial vote. But for us to get our court up, we're held up on that initial vote.
Okay. Okay.
That's the key one we've got to be able to work with. So it'll be here as each of them as we develop them, but then, and again, it's training at homeonindiana.org. Then another subdomain I created is trade.athomeonindiana.org. And this is for Indiana nationals and citizens that have presented their status correction and they own their own private trade business, so that you can be able to get a 12-month subscription to post, and then it would be a posting of your business information in there.
Okay.
So that way, for an opportunity to start trade, among others.
Right,
so
right.
there was that, and then I also set up the subdomain of shop.athomeonindiana.org that goes to it's still the main website, obviously, but it'll keep the subdomain in for all the store stuff. So I've updated some things in here, some new things. There's wrapping paper with the peace flag on it. Some new shirts. I did the shirt like this, where it has on the arm, Indiana State National, a white and a black of that. We can go to goods. Here's where it's just the Indiana peace flag with the web address, but it does have on the arm Indiana State National, so everybody can be able to, if you live on Indiana, right?
Right.
So I added those in. Then these have preserving the peace, serving the people, protecting the property, and upholding the public law requires action by the people.
Yeah, I like that.
I don't know if it won't do the other side for the front. Maybe it does it here. Oh, hold on. Here we go. And then on the front, the Indiana and the lapel. Here's the arm. So there's white and black on this, and then the one where it's just then the peace flag, so you don't have all the verbiage on it.
Very nice.
And so there's those.
Oh yeah, a case for your
laptop.
Tote bag. Tote bag is nice too.
And of course, that men's T-shirt, even though it was in a maroon color, I think there were multiple colors with that one for it to be a short sleeve shirt. So then here's where it's just like one sheet of stickers, where this one here, it's a run of like 6 on the sheet of stickers, where this is one big sticker. And then here's a long sleeve. And this has multiple colors, I think, to it for that one as well.
Yeah, I like
so
that.
there's a short sleeve and a long sleeve of the multiple of these. But then in the others, it's just the black and white is all I picked, because it gets complicated in the print. Doesn't always, I have to change the color print, change the picture and everything to be able to adjust for different colors,
Mm-hmm.
So that gets a little bit cumbersome and time consuming. So no need to overwork myself.
I think you already have.
That I'm dealing with. I had fun making the wallpaper, and it has a 3 or 4 different ways it printed it. You get to choose. There's like 3 different styles of how that printed
Oh,
out.
I see the state now. That's cool.
Yeah, where it's, and then that way it's not any particular holiday, but it has the state on it and the flag, so you can use it for various things. That was, I was thinking, would be a great one I could have, because I'm creating a workstation to do crafts, doing all kinds of crafts, and have videos, so I can be more creative, and I've noticed where, because I immerse myself watching what other people do to get ideas on how they're doing it, and one woman for Christmas, she was taking, as she did each video for projects throughout Christmas, she would take Christmas wrapping paper and put it on her crafting table. So you had the pretty view of the wrapping paper while she was making the craft. I'm like, well, I could do that too.
You could do that with this.
Yeah, absolutely. So I thought that was great.
Awesome.
And you can also, again, you can go into here to get, I think it's under services as the category. Services for the subscription.
Okay.
And that's for 12 months, just flat 12 months.
If you have a business, that's what, or?
Yeah, to be able to list, if you're if you've presented your status correction, just the minimum status correction is fine, because you have to have status correction to be able to own your business. So you've done your private deed for your business, things like, then we can post your ad up. Okay.
Yeah, and while we're on these logos and everything, I talked to Scott at the Peacekeeping Task Force Bridge something or another a couple of nights ago, and he said to tell you hello, and he hopes to get in touch with us and be talking with our Indiana Assembly in the near future.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Send me send him my info, something.
Okay.
Definitely. We'll start getting connected.
Yeah, because I was trying to find the Peacekeeping Task Force meeting the couple nights ago, and there were people on Telegram, like 10 of them, waiting for it to start, and I got a hold of him, and he said, we aren't having one tonight. But it looked like on Telegram we were, so, yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So that's how I ended up doing that. But I'll send him a note.
Yeah, definitely. And that way we can start. But again, it's also, we've got to have more coming to the calls, to know what's going on, to participate as well.
But what he was, on that site, they had a logo that they will design our own logo for us in Indiana if we want to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Definitely, yeah. We want to connect with that.
Yeah, it looked pretty nice with the one they had on the site, too.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to take a moment real quick and do a copy of the chat, because I totally spaced it and closed out before I copied all of, hold on. Select all. And I totally forgot to post it in here to have it for the recording. So let me get that for now. Okay, so that is in there. Hey, okay. All right. Drew, would you be willing to motion for us to adjourn to the 27th at 6 p.m. Central?
Yes, I make the motion to adjourn.
Okay, this is Drew on Elkhart. I will go ahead and second. Any opposed? I'll say aye. Are you ready to say aye?
Aye.
Aye. All right. And it is 7:34 p.m. All right. Central. All right.
Okay, I will get a hold of that letter and send it to you.
Tell me about that. Yeah, the Treasury.
And money for the cards.
Okay.
And send Scott.
And I will have out in the mail tomorrow business cards to you, and you'll get an email. We'll have tracking info, so you'll know when to
Okay.
Okay, dear.
Perfect.
Thank you very much. You
All
have
right.
a great evening, and I will see you on next week's call. Peace
Okay.
and love.
Peace and love to you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.